This is the story of Exodus, a journey that transforms broken slaves into a holy nation. It is a foundational narrative that reveals the very character of God, from the mud pits of Egypt to the sacred space of the Tabernacle where His presence dwells. At Mount Sinai, the newly freed people receive a covenant that will define their identity and teach them what it means to be holy. God doesn't just give them rules, He provides a detailed plan for the tabernacle, a sacred tent so His glorious presence can live in their very midst. Though the journey is filled with struggle and rebellion, God's commitment remains unwavering. This is the promise of Exodus. The God who liberates is also the God who commands and, ultimately, the God who comes to dwell. As we journey through this epic account, we will pause on key verses that serve as signposts, living declarations of God's identity, power, and purpose. From the mysterious revelation of God's name in a burning bush to the final awesome cloud of glory filling the tabernacle, these verses anchor the narrative. They show us a God who is present, who acts, who speaks, and who desires an intimate, covenantal relationship with the people He has called His own. Let us begin this journey from chains to glory. The story of Exodus begins in darkness. The descendants of Jacob, once honored guests in the land of Egypt, have become a nation of slaves. A new Pharaoh, one who did not know Joseph, has risen to power. Fearing the growing Israelites, Pharaoh forces them into brutal labor, building his great cities. Their lives are filled with bitterness, their groans a desperate cry for deliverance. Into this suffering, a child is born, Moses. Raised in the palace of the oppressor, he is a man caught between two worlds. After killing an Egyptian taskmaster, his destiny begins to unfold. Moses flees into the wilderness. For decades he lives as a shepherd, his past seemingly behind him. One day, near Mount Horeb, he sees a wondrous sight, a bush engulfed in flames, yet not consumed. A voice calls from the fire. It is the God of his ancestors, who has seen the misery of his people in Egypt. He is sending Moses to lead them out of slavery. But Moses asks, "Who is God, that he should go in his name?" It is here that God reveals his sacred name. When Moses asks what he should say if the people ask for God's name, God replies from the bush, "I am who I am," Exodus 3:14. This is not just a name. It is a promise that God is the one who is truly present, whose power will be revealed in His actions. Armed with this divine presence, the reluctant shepherd Moses is commissioned to become the liberator of his people. Moses returns to Egypt to confront Pharaoh. "Let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart is hard. God then dismantles Egyptian power with escalating plagues, targeted assaults on their gods. The final, most terrible plague will strike down every firstborn in Egypt. But God provides a way of escape for His people, the blood of a lamb on their doorposts. This act of protection becomes their defining ritual, the Passover. Each Israelite family is instructed to take a perfect lamb and paint its blood on their doorposts. This blood would be a sign for the angel of death to pass over, sparing the firstborn within. God declares, "The blood shall be a sign for you. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and no plague will befall you to destroy you, when I strike the land of Egypt." While a great cry goes up throughout Egypt, the blood of the lamb becomes the mark of deliverance for the Israelites, the boundary between death and life, slavery and freedom. Broken by the final plague, Pharaoh commands the Israelites to leave Egypt. The years of bondage are over. Urged on by the Egyptians, the people leave in haste, carrying the wealth of Egypt as payment for their labor. God Himself guides them as a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. But Pharaoh's heart hardens once more. Regretting the loss of his workforce, he gathers his army and elite chariots. He pursues the Israelites, trapping them against the shores of the Red Sea. Before them is an impassable sea. Behind them, the world's most powerful army. Trapped at the sea with Pharaoh's army closing in, the Israelites' newfound freedom seems lost. Terrified, their faith crumbles, and they cry out to Moses. But Moses delivers God's powerful promise, calling them to be still and witness His salvation. "Fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord, which He will work for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent." At God's command, Moses lifts his staff over the sea. A great east wind blows all night, parting the waters and turning the seabed into dry ground. The Israelites walk through the sea, wall of water on their right, wall of water on their left. The Egyptian army, blinded by their arrogance, charges in after them. Once the Israelites are safely across, God commands Moses to stretch out his hand again. The waters return, swallowing the entire army of Pharaoh. On that day, Israel saw the great power of the Lord, and they believed. They believed. Having witnessed the miraculous destruction of the Egyptian army, the Israelites are now free, but their freedom brings new challenges in the barren wilderness. Their euphoria gives way to harsh realities. Without water and food, the people begin to grumble against Moses. This pattern of complaint and provision will define their time in the wilderness. In response, God miraculously provides sweet water and rains down a mysterious bread-like substance from heaven called manna. They have been delivered from bondage, but must now learn to trust God for their daily needs. Though the people grumble, conditioned by slavery, God responds with grace, promising to rain bread from heaven. That evening, quail provide meat. In the morning, a thin, flaky substance covers the ground. Moses tells them, "It is the bread that the Lord has given you to eat." They call it manna. For 40 years, God provides this daily bread and water from a rock, teaching them to depend on Him. He is not just keeping them alive, He is forging them into a nation that trusts Him. He guides their every step, telling them when to journey and when to set up camp. In the barrenness of the desert, away from the influences of Egypt, Israel is learning a fundamental lesson. Their survival and their future depend entirely on the daily, faithful provision of the God who rescued them. He is their guide, their protector, and their sustenance. Well, that's their story. After 3 months of travel, the Israelites arrive at Mount Sinai, the very place where God first appeared to Moses in the burning bush. God summons Moses to the top of the mountain, covered in a thick, terrifying cloud. Here, God will make a covenant to form these former slaves into a unique nation. If they obey, they will be His treasured possession, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. The people agree, promising, "All that the Lord has spoken, we will do." From the midst of the fire, God speaks the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments are not restrictive rules, but a blueprint for freedom, outlining how to relate to God and one another. The first commandment grounds the law in redemption. "I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt. You shall have no other gods before me." The law doesn't earn salvation, it's given to a people already saved. It is a gift that teaches them how to live as free people in covenant with their liberator. To be holy is to be wholly devoted to the one God who rescued them, and to live in a community shaped by His just, life-giving commands. While Moses was on the mountain for 40 days, the people below grew restless. Their faith, dependent on His visible leadership, began to waver. They demanded Aaron make them gods they could see. Forgetting God's power, Aaron gave in. He collected their gold and fashioned a molten calf. He presented it to the people. "These are your gods, O Israel." The people offered sacrifices and celebrated with wild revelry. In a profound act of betrayal, the people trade God's glory for a golden calf. On the mountain, God's anger burns, and He threatens to destroy them. But Moses intercedes, reminding God of His promises. In a remarkable display of mercy, God relents. When Moses descends and sees the idol, his own anger flares. He smashes the stone tablets, the broken covenant symbol. The covenant lies in ruins. The relationship between God and Israel is broken. Yet the story does not end in judgment. Moses again pleads for God's forgiveness and presence. God agrees to renew the covenant. He calls Moses back up the mountain, carves the 10 Commandments onto new stone tablets. Renewal shows the covenant rests not on perfect people, but on God's persistent grace and mercy. The broken relationship is restored because God chooses faithfulness even when they were not. After the covenant is renewed, God gives Moses a detailed blueprint for a portable sanctuary, the Tabernacle. This allows a holy God to live among His people. The people respond with overwhelming generosity, bringing offerings in such abundance Moses has to command them to stop. The same people who gave gold for an idol now joyfully give to build a home for the true God. They build the tabernacle and its furnishings. The design teaches about God's holiness, with increasing levels of sanctity from the outer court to the most holy place. The priesthood, led by Aaron, offers sacrifices that make fellowship possible. Nearly a year after leaving Egypt, the tabernacle is completed. Then, the moment the book has been building toward arrives. The cloud that had led them descends upon the tent. The glory of the Lord fills the sacred space so completely that not even Moses can enter. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. God now dwells in the midst of His people. The The story of Exodus is complete. It has moved a broken people from the chains of slavery in Egypt to the awesome presence of God in their own camp. Through 3 great movements, God has delivered his people, defined them by his law, and finally, come to dwell among them. He is a God who hears, who saves, and who stays. The law reveals God's holiness, defining his people. But most profoundly, the tabernacle shows God's desire to dwell with them. Despite their rebellion, his grace made a way for his holy presence to inhabit their world. The cloud of glory is the culmination of their journey from bondage to communion. God has delivered, defined, and now dwells with his people. This threefold story, deliverance, law, and dwelling, is the heart of Exodus, a message of enduring hope that a holy and powerful God chooses to rescue, sanctify, and live among his people. Seek Scripture first. Illuminate your path. Like and subscribe today.